Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know if you are a parent, if you have children or not. Regardless, you should be very interested to see what kind of upbringing the children of the society you live in are given. That is, you should be very concerned if you see the children in your society provided a certain kind of ideology, because the children will grow into being adults and the ideology instilled in them, propagandized in them while they were small, will remain inside of their children's brain, and it's going to be hard for them to escape that cage, the box that they were put in. The reason why I started with this is because we have here an article from Sputnik. And Sputnik has it's a Russian media outlet, has a real and good point. And that is, Russian schools teach about family values while Western install drag show. A new academic year in Russia kicked off on September 1st. This year will be an array of new subjects. We'll see an array of new subjects to preserve and strengthen traditional values among children. The course Fundamentals of Security and Defense of the Motherland is being introduced to teach pupils basic military skills and tactical fire and engineering exercises. The course on Family Studies is designated or designed to teach pupils about family values, building relations with relatives, basics of the family psychological health, and measures of state support for families. Home economics course will include traditional lessons on carpentry, cooking and sewing, as well as new areas of robotics and 3D modeling. Meanwhile, Western schools indulging in neoliberal values. The U.S. Teaching Tolerance program, founded in 1991, holds conferences and publishes books for school teachers to provide, and I'm quoting, practices for serving LGBTQ plus students. In April, the Biden administration issued new rules outlining schools' obligations under Title IX, the federal law prohibiting, and I'm quoting, sex-based discrimination, including attempts to bar transgender students from using bathrooms and playing in sports teams of their gender. In 2021, 6 U.S. states, namely California, New Jersey, Colorado, Oregon, Illinois, and Nevada, passed an LGBTQ plus inclusive curriculum legislation that requires schools to include LGBTQ plus people and identities in history and social science programs. Now, are you familiar with Hitler-Jugend? And if you are, do you know what that was? Well, it was not only those teenagers or children, German children, that were pushed to fight for their Führer at the end of the Second World War. That's not only that. That is what these guys tell you, so you have this very narrow interpretation of what that was. It was a program in which the bad nationalist German socialist worker parties wanted to have a certain kind of individual, gave them an ideology, and they had all kind of camps where they instilled the collective support for one another, working together, goal-oriented camps or summer camps. Now, I'm not defending anybody. See, in the society we live right now, I have to say this as a disclosure before I start. So that tells you what kind of society we live in. I'm just saying this because this is extra. And obviously, those children were propagandized with the view of the leaders of those times, in which the Führer was this, and National Socialist Party was this, and blah, 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 communism was bad, and so on. Why? Because those children will become adults, and they had to support the same ideology these guys were pushing on everybody else. Remember, the Nazis were elected in 1933 with what? 33% of the votes. That's how that bad guy got to be a chancellor. He was appointed eventually by, what was his name? I always forget the guy's name. Anyway, so nevertheless, let's go back. So it's not that only those guys did it. This is what you do with any society. In any society, you try to give the children a certain kind of worldview that will support the government or some directions. Now, you tell me, looking at the Russian curriculum in school for their children versus the other guys with drag queen, what was the title? Shows. I can't help noticing that the drag queen shows are directed towards children, not towards adults. Do you know why? Well, I know why, but to say it will be very much politically incorrect to say it. The emperor has no clothes. That's basically what you need to say. So, which way would you like to rather be? In the Russian way or the Western neoliberal so-called values? I think it could be somewhere not in the middle, but towards the Russians. Not the Russians completely, because obviously they will instill in their children a certain kind of behavior. And I think children must be exposed to hardship, must be exposed to adversity, so they learn how to deal with it. They have to learn how to develop their physical abilities, not only mental abilities, and values. And you build values by fighting for your values. You can say that you love, the environment, but when someone threatens you about the environment, you just drop the value because you're afraid. So you have to be strong and withstand these challenges by exposing yourself. If you are just learning how to swim from the shore and never being in the water, you don't know if you're going to swim. I know how to swim, but you never swam. You've never been in the water. So I think that the family values, which is, mom, dad, children, I think those should be the way. Why? It's not because necessarily this religion says or that ideology, but look in history. Look in history, and you will not find a, I don't want to say civilized society, a society who evolved with laws. A civilized society is a society that has rules, it has laws, just and with common sense laws, and they respect them. We all have laws. All countries have laws. The problem is the level of respect for the laws. How are they enforced? And how logical they are, how fair they are. Just think about it. Our children could be exposed to that. What is that? What's the purpose of, let's say, as a parent? I personally think that as a parent, that's my personal opinion, I should say it. I think my personal opinion and stance is, if I take my child to a drag queen show, I think that's mental abuse for my child. Because if I show pleasure for what's going over there, the child copies, wants to please. That's what it is, psychological. No, it's not me, psychology of the children. They like to please the adult. So if the parent frowns, oh, what is this? The child will have the same attitude, most likely. But if the parent is an imbecile, the child will become an imbecile until the child is able to break the chains of imbecility of their parents and realize by reading and looking around and having open-minded brain and worldview, understand that his parents are imbeciles. And actually, they handicapped them in the real world. So remember, who owns the children owns the future of a country. Now, what kind of future do we want with this kind of shows? What's the purpose? I mean, let's look at, there is a man, ugly man, dressed like women, very ugly individuals. I mean, I looked, I watched, I tried to understand this. First, I can understand someone changing clothes and showing up. I mean, that's not normal. Let's put it this way. But I said, okay, let's see. And I couldn't say I saw something very, very ugly. very ugly. And I'm thinking, what's the purpose of this kind going to the children and read to the children? What exactly and why? Why would you want to tell the children? What's the purpose in the future? So the children will accept them? Is that the goal? Remember, it's not these guys, they want to dress however they want to dress. They can dress, if you want to be however and put a feather in their asses, I don't care. As long as they don't expect me to think that it's normal and applaud it. So it's the parents and the schools' fault exposing the children to this kind of abnormality, because it's not normal. What is normal? Normal is something that's widespread, something that's part of the norm. That's not norm, that's a fringe thing. It's outside of, So again, what is the final point of having these guys showing up only at children? Now, let's say the other ones are Putin's values, family, even though he didn't invent them. I'd rather have those ones than these guys. Just so you know. But that's my understanding of the world. But think of this. What is the end game? Acceptance? Why do you come and teach the children? Why don't you come and teach me? Why don't you come and talk to me? Because I can counter you? But remember, the cuckoo heads, the parents, I think they abuse their children. When I used to work in an investigative job, we were required by law of the state of Michigan, to accept certain things that you would not accept, but that was the policy instilled by as an executive order. I don't know exactly how it was called, policy by Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. I disagree with them, but I had to follow them. Nobody asked me if that runs against my values or anything. I think they were wrong. They were very much wrong. It was about adoptions. All right, my friends, I think you can guess what it is. A lot of policies. I will start pretty soon to discuss my experience working for the state of Michigan with the policies, with the DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, garbage, with diversity, with sensitivity classes that you had to take, with implicit bias, and so on. Discrimination, all those classes that you had to take. And I will discuss this kind of with adoptions by certain people, and you had to be okay with that because someone else told you you have to. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Remember what country and what is the purpose of these kind of things. You want to destroy a society? I think that's the way to go. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.